South Kentish Town Station is one of the London Underground's most curious oddities, a stop that existed briefly and then slipped into obscurity almost as quickly as it appeared. Opened in 1907 on the Charing Cross, Euston and Hampstead Railway, it was intended to serve the growing community of Camden, yet its history was plagued with misfortune. On a summer's day in 1924, a sudden power cut brought services grinding to a halt, and passengers at South Kentish Town were left stranded in the gloom. Though the incident was resolved, the station never reopened to the public. Officially, it was closed due to low passenger numbers and its proximity to neighboring Camden Town. But the dramatic blackout became forever tied to its story, cementing the idea that the station had been cursed by that single event. For years afterward, the entrance stood as a quiet shell, its ox blood-red tiling weathered by rain and soot, while trains thundered through the platforms without stopping. The site's eerie emptiness soon caught the public imagination, inspiring a tongue-in-cheek short story by poet John Betjeman in 1933, in which a hapless commuter is trapped in the disused station, unable to escape. During the Second World War, its forgotten tunnels were put to use as air raid shelters and even as storage space for goods. But the platforms themselves remained silent. Today, the station's red facade still stands on Kentish Town Road, bricked-up windows and faded lettering hinting at its hidden past. To the casual passerby, it is just another curious London building, but to enthusiasts of the Underground's ghost stations, it represents a strange chapter in the network's history, a station undone not by war or disaster but by circumstance and neglect. While legends swirl around stations haunted by spirits or bound to curses, South Kentish Town's legacy is quieter yet no less haunting, a place where one sudden power cut seemed to extinguish its future forever, leaving behind only stories, sealed doors, and the echo of what might have been. South Kentish Town Station has always carried the air of a place forgotten too soon, a fragment of the Underground's history that feels more like a story than a stop. It opened with optimism in 1907, its red-tiled Leslie green facade, a familiar hallmark of Edwardian station design, promising easy access to the bustling streets of Kentish Town Road. Yet from the beginning, it struggled to attract enough passengers, squeezed between more popular neighbors Camden Town and Kentish Town. The decisive moment came in June 1924, when a sudden power failure left a train stranded at the station. Passengers were escorted through darkened tunnels, their footsteps echoing against damp brick as they made their way to safety. And though the crisis was resolved without injury, the incident cast a lasting shadow. The station never reopened, its low usage cited as the official reason. But in public memory, the blackout became the dramatic end of its short-lived service. For decades, the disused platforms lay in darkness while trains thundered past. The station reduced to a ghostly presence, glimpsed only by drivers and the occasional maintenance worker. Its curious fate inspired John Betjeman's witty 1933 story South Kentish Town, in which a man becomes hopelessly trapped inside the closed station, poking fun at the absurdity of its situation. During the Blitz, the Underground was a lifeline for sheltering Londoners, but South Kentish Town remained bricked off, used only for storage rather than refuge, as though its unlucky history kept it apart. Today, the oxblood facade still stands at street level, its windows filled in, its entrance barred. A silent witness to the passage of time. Urban explorers and ghost tour guides linger outside, weaving tales of stranded passengers, empty tunnels, and the strange finality of a station cut off by darkness. While it lacks the supernatural legends of other ghost stations, South Kentish Town captivates precisely because of its ordinariness, a station undone not by bombs or fire, but by a single moment of failure that became its permanent epitaph. South Kentish Town Station stands as one of the strangest chapters in London Underground history, a station that vanished from use almost as quickly as it appeared. Opened in 1907, its red-tiled exterior was identical to dozens of other stations designed by Leslie Green. Yet unlike its thriving neighbors Camden Town and Kentish Town, it struggled to attract passengers from the very start. For nearly 2 decades, trains dutifully stopped at its platforms, though more often than not they were nearly empty. The decisive moment came on the 5th of June 1924, when a sudden and unexpected power cut left a train stranded in the station. With the tunnels plunged into darkness, passengers had to be guided carefully along the tracks to safety, their frightened voices echoing in the gloom. Although no one was injured, the disruption seemed to deliver the final blow to a station already considered expendable. South Kentish Town never reopened for public service, officially deemed redundant, but in popular imagination the blackout became its defining tragedy. For years afterward, Londoners repeated the story as if the lights going out had symbolically extinguished the station's future. Unlike other ghost stations that found new purposes during the Second World War, South Kentish Town remained largely unused, its shadowy platforms locked away, while nearby tunnels were repurposed as shelters or storeroom. The building itself still loomed above Kentish Town Road, its tiled facade bricked over, a silent witness to decades of change. Writers and artists found inspiration in its absurd fate, most notably John Bed, whose 1933 story humorously depicted a man trapped inside the closed station, unable to escape its forgotten depths. To this day, trains continue to race through its hidden platforms without pausing, and commuters on the surface pass by its sealed entrance without noticing. For underground enthusiasts, however, it remains a fascinating mystery, not a place of ghosts or curses, but of strange misfortune, a reminder of how quickly history can turn a bustling public space into a relic. South Kentish Town is remembered as the station undone by a single moment of darkness. Forever frozen in time as one of London's true transport oddities, South Kentish Town Station, tucked away on Kentish Town Road, is often overlooked among London's many forgotten stations, yet its story carries an eerie quality that makes it stand apart. Opened in 1907, the station was built in the signature oxblood red tiles of architect Leslie Green, a promise of modern convenience for the growing suburb. But from its earliest days, South Kentish Town struggled, sandwiched between Camden Town and Kentish Town, both busier and better connected. It never drew the crowds that had been anticipated. For nearly 17 years it lingered, often quiet, its ticket halls echoing with only a trickle of passengers. Then came the fateful day in June 1924 when a sudden power cut plunged the station into darkness. A train was stranded at the platforms, and bewildered passengers were forced to walk through dim tunnels, guided by railway staff and flickering lamps. Though all emerged unharmed, the event became the station's undoing. Officially, low usage was the reason it never reopened, but for many, the blackout felt symbolic, as though the light had gone out on its future forever. In the decades that followed, the building remained above ground, its bricked windows staring blankly at the road, while deep below, the platforms gathered dust. Stories began to spread of unusual sounds, the echo of footsteps long after the tunnels had been sealed, or the faint rattle of doors when no train stopped there. Some drivers whispered that they glimpsed figures on the deserted platforms as their trains roared past, shadows vanishing as quickly as they appeared. During the Blitz, when other stations sheltered Londoners, South Kentish Town remained unused, as though its unlucky history made it unfit even for refuge. Today, its facade still stands, a relic of a forgotten stop, its silence steeped in melancholy. For most, it is simply another closed station. But for those who listen closely, South Kentish Town seems to hold an atmosphere heavier than neglect, as if that night of darkness in 1924 left a mark that can never quite be erased.